Um, okay. So, I don't know if any of you heard, but Transformers 1 is on Paramount Plus, and I use my dad's account for that. So, I finally got to watch the movie, and I really liked it, so I'm going to talk about it. So, spoilers, obviously. Um, my criticisms and my praises aren't really going to be in any sort of order. It's just going to be random. But anyways, so the first thing I noticed was they say hell, damn, and God, which implies that Christianity. Why did I say it like that? Christianity. It implies that Christianity is on Cybertron, which it isn't. I mean, for one thing, Cybertronians' gods actually exist. So I found that a little weird. Like they have they have substitutes for those words. You know, they say things like slag and scrap and by the Allspark, right? Just like they do in Transformers Prime. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird how they said all those words. Um, and also when Megatron says,
"I'm done saving you."
I feel like that kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, he does save Orion a lot in the movie, but like that much? Excuse me. I don't know. I felt like it just kind of came out of nowhere. You know, because Orion saves Dee a little bit, but I mean, I only watched the movie once, you know? So, some of what I remember is a little foggy, but still, I just felt like that line could have been a little more justified throughout um, throughout the course of the film. But maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. But another thing that I thought was weird was the names of the factions just kind of show up at the end of the movie. Like like Optimus Prime just says,
"We are Autobots."
and I was like, where'd you get that from, buddy? Did the Primes give you that one, or did you come up with it? Because like, I think it would have made more sense if at some point Orion said,
"We are all individuals with our own thoughts and feelings. We are autonomous robotic organisms."
like when he was, like he could have said that when he gave the speech to all the miners. So at least then we would know where he gets the term Autobots from. And also, Megatron calling his faction the Decepticons is pretty weird, given that he really hates deception. Like in the movie, he's all like,
"No more false prophets! No more deception!"
and then he calls his faction the Decepticons. Like that's your whole motif. That's what you're named after. Is it supposed to be like? Is it supposed to mean like destroyers of deception? Because that could work. You know, like it's kind of like an ironic name. Like, oh, we are the destroyers of deception, even though that's all we do. Kind of like in a an ironic name, kind of thing. I don't know. It was kind of weird. But one thing that was kind of interesting was the way they tried to explain Starscream's G1 voice. Like apparently he's not supposed to sound like that. The reason he sounds like that in the G1 cartoon is because Megatron like destroys his voice box. Not to the degree of Bumblebee in Transformers Prime, but like he crushes Starscream's voice box a little bit to where now he sounds like Megatron has fallen. I, Starscream, am your new leader. Which I interpreted more as a snide to the original voice actor. Like, he was just doing what his director told him to. You're just gonna make fun of him for it. So that was kind of funny. But one thing I really enjoyed watching was Orion and D16's dynamic. Like, they really were like brothers. Like, it was really cool just seeing like the downtime with them. Because all the time, right, with Optimus and Megatron, they're always at war. You know, there's always that tension. But with Orion and D in the movie, there's none of that. You know, they get along. They hang out. So that was really nice to see. And one thing that I was wondering was, why is B-127 in sub-level 50? Like, I don't remember if B actually explained why he was down there. Well, no, he kind of did. But I definitely don't remember Orion or D being like, oh wow, that's pretty fucked up. I suddenly feel very unsafe around you. If you actually deserve to be all the way down here. I don't remember anything like that, but yeah, I don't know. But another thing that I liked was seeing Optimus's pain when he banishes Megatron. Like, you can tell he really doesn't want to, but he has to. Like, he says,
You betrayed your minor friends. You betrayed your allies. You betrayed Iacon. And you betrayed me. You are banished from Iacon.
like he really doesn't want to, but he has to. And that's like the first really hard decision that Optimus Prime ever makes. So that was pretty cool to see. And also, it's the first time Megatron says his famous line,
This isn't over, Prime.
which doesn't really make sense because his idol is Megatronus Prime. And he learned from Alpha Trion, another Prime who helped him, that Sentinel wasn't actually a Prime. Like, it was only ever Sentinel who was the bad guy. Like, all the other Primes that they found, they weren't evil. So, what the hell was Megatron going on about? I mean, his emotions were running pretty high, but still. Like, do you not remember Alpha Trion helping you? And what would Megatronus Prime think, seeing you naming yourself after him, and like using his face as a sign of evil? I don't want to say evil, but you know what I mean. Like, do you really think this is what Megatronus had in mind when he went to stop the Quintessence? I don't know. Just like, what would Megatronus say if he saw Megatron and what he was doing? And if Megatronus saw D16 betray his brother, like, what would Megatronus say to that? Because we don't really get much character development out of the Primes outside of Alpha Trion. So I think that would be pretty interesting to see. Like, if Megatronus could see Megatron, what would he say? And also, speaking of the Quintessence, they're not really a threat in this movie, like at all. Like, sure, they're all alien and evil, like you know, they're making intimidating noises like that. And they don't ever invade Cybertron. Or, well, okay, yeah, they do invade Cybertron, but you know what I mean. They don't actually, like, show up for the final battle. But maybe that's just, set up for a possible sequel or something. Because the Quintessons are just not in this movie. They just show up, kill the Primes, take Sentinel's Energon, and that's it. That's as far as their threat goes. there's no post credit scene for them, so it's like, are they gonna be in the sequel, or what? I think they will. I don't actually know if there is a sequel for this movie. I hope there is. But yeah, that's everything I wanted to say about the movie. Again, I really liked it, despite the flaws and little criticisms I have with it. But it was a good movie. It was a really good movie. And yeah, my voice is completely destroyed now. I'm gonna go.